Hello, welcome to another video from VaiSlab. Today we have a special guest. We have VaiSlab project engineer Sean Murphy. And Sean is going to be talking to us today about a new thing that we are doing with our VaiNet wireless data loggers, which is mobile. So welcome, Sean. Good to see you. I'm glad you could take this time, and you're going to tell us about a recent case where you managed to get a new setup for our VaiNet wireless loggers.
Well, we had a project where a customer wanted to be able to monitor in real time assets in the field. And this is outside of a normal facility, not a wired system. They were looking for something that could run inside a mobile laboratory, or actually, these were RVs that contained refrigerators and freezers containing assets of high value. And they wanted to be able to capture the readings in real time in these trailers as they're traveling all around the country, and be able to stream the data back to a central ViewLink system and keep it inside the bubble of a validated monitoring system. And this customer came to us with this unique situation where they want to be able to monitor using the same existing system that they had. So what we did for a solution for them is to leverage a 3G, 4G modems. So this gives you the ability to take the hardware out into the field without a VPN, without any real need to connect the network between the device in the field and the ViewLink server, and leverage just the modem and the way the AP10 communicates. So this is a layout of the way the communication works. We have the RFLs, which these are temperature humidity data loggers. It's a product that's been out for a couple of years at this point, and it leverages the VaiNet communication. So this is in the US, this is 915 megahertz, and it's a chirp spread spectrum. So this can penetrate through walls. It can go distance. For example, even if they took these devices outside of the mobile RV, they probably can go several hundred feet away from the RV and still maintain connectivity to the AP10 module here, which is the base station, you can think of it as, for the VaiNet system. So in this case, we're taking the AP10. This is wireless point-to-point between the AP10 and the sensors in the field. So this will be in our case here with this customer's application. This was a remote temperature probe going inside a -80 freezer. And this device over here was plugged into a network switch inside the RV that had PoE. So you can see on here in my little diagram here, you have PoE, PoE. This is a PoE switch. PoE switches, if you're not familiar with them, they actually provide roughly 48 to 50 volts along with network connectivity. So this is a wired point-to-point between the network switch and the AP10. And this eliminates the need for DC power adapters for the AP10. And the same thing, there's also 3G, 4G modems out there that are also PoE. So you can actually just leverage one power plug to power both of these two devices together through network switch. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it this way. Each one of these devices will have a power adapter, so you can actually connect the AP10 directly to the modem. But in this case, it just makes more sense to power everything off of one plug rather than having to have two plugs. And in this customer's case, they were actually using the modem for not just communicating with the AP10, they were actually using it as the local internet access inside the vehicle for everything else. They also had computer workstation sharing the same 3G, 4G modem. The advantage to using the 3G, 4G modem with the AP10 is that the AP10 is very low bandwidth. So there's only a few bytes of data that are captured from any one of the devices. The maximum that this one device is going to be able to hold is up to 32 different data loggers. So they're only communicating every 4 minutes. So there's not a huge amount of data that's going through the wireless modem. So you're not actually using up a lot of bandwidth. So as you know, with cellular modems, your charges are really based upon usage. So this is actually quite cost effective to use this. So the modem itself communicates to cell tower using CDMA or GSM, depending on what service your cellular provider has. And this goes out to the internet. So with the internet, it allows you to connect to any server anywhere. Um, the actual AP10 itself, in order for the AP10 to be able to see the ViewLink server, there needs to be a port open up on the inbound network gateway. So this is a TCP ports 12600, needs to be open on the gateway, and using a procedure internally called port forwarding, you actually take this external port and map it to the ViewLink server. And that's literally all that you have to do to get this device to work. If you're familiar with our AP10 technology, as soon as the AP10 sees the ViewLink server, it adds itself. So the process of actually adding this device to here is nothing more than going into this device and typing in the IP address, or if you're, in this case, the customer actually created an entire domain name for the ViewLink server and exposed it to 12600, so they can actually type in a domain name for this server and have it go automatically right to the ViewLink server and add itself. So it's very simple to set up. And the advantage of using a domain name versus a static IP over here is that if this gateway ever changes in its configuration, it doesn't matter to this device because it just sees it by its domain name. So that's some of the details of what this system configuration was at this particular customer site. And I'm going to switch cameras here for a minute, and I'll give you a view of what this hardware looks like. So if you take a look here, I have basically what I showed you on the diagram earlier, which is I have an AP10. Unfortunately, it's not all that clear on this camera, but basically it's all set up and going. This has a little green light. It doesn't really come through very well on this camera, but if I shade it a little bit, you can see it. That's the all's okay light for the AP10. And the AP10 is wired directly to a PoE network switch. This is just off-the-shelf, cheapy, unmanaged network switch that probably costs about $50 to purchase. And this is a Netgear. It's a 3G modem. It takes a SIM card on the inside, so you basically put the SIM card in the back. There's many different other models out there. This is just one that I use for this particular demonstration. I believe the end user is actually using a DigiConnect module, but this is kind of a universal type device. You can buy this from multiple vendors that are out there. It's nothing proprietary to VaiSLA. And you're also going to want to be able to get the SIM card that works with your preferred cellular service provider. In my case here, it would be Verizon. And this is the RFL. So in this case, the RFL is talking directly to the AP10. This is wireless. I can go down the street and this thing will still be able to communicate with the space station. There's several other devices that are in this facility that are also connected to the same base station. Can't really see it here, but it says 5. There's 5 different devices. And directly on the AP10 itself, you can always tell what the signal strength is for every one of the devices that's connected. So there's a local display on here that tells you how good the connectivity is to here. And every one of these RFLs is going to tell you whether or not it's talking to the ViewLink system. So over here, you can see you have the RFL, you have the AP10 and the server. So when all these bars are all lit up down here, just like what you see on the camera, that means that this device is actively communicating to the ViewLink server. And this tells you what the battery strength is. This tells you what um, the strength of the connection to the AP10 is. So essentially from each one of these devices, you can see the connectivity all the way to the server. In this case, it means going wirelessly to the space station, wired to the cellular modem, through the internet, through your cellular carrier, in through an internet gateway, and all the way into the server itself. So all this is available right here on every one of the devices that's connected. And I will again switch the camera and actually, do you want to switch this so I can share my desktop? Because I can actually show what it looks like in ViewLink. This is a view inside of ViewLink, and this is my particular demo system. So looking inside the directory here, I have an AP10. Usually the way you would set up a ViewLink system would be around your facility or your specific application. This happens to be a test system. So everything is centered around what the hardware would be. In this customer's case, this would be like the RV that the AP10 was mounted in. So this is communicating right now. All the hardware that you see below here is going through that cellular modem back to a server, in this case, that's in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm actually located in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So this is a global system, even with this demo system. So the location of the actual equipment doesn't need to be within proximity of anything. It can be global. These devices can be on the other side of the world and still be able to communicate. So over here, you can see that I have several different channels that are enabled on here. And these are humidity, temperature. I have a freezer that's online, and this tells you what the historical data is that's going in through here. And earlier this morning, I had played around with this and disconnected it and forced it to backfill 2 hours worth of data. That all happened within about 15 minutes. So one of the nice things about this is if you lose cellular communication, one, you're going to get notification that you lost cellular communication because you'll get a gap in the real-time data. And once it reestablishes itself, it will backfill all the missing data. So this basically, for a period of about 2 hours here, was disconnected, and all the data has been backfilled within the last 20 minutes. And if I go inside my events log, it'll actually tell me that the system backfilled. So there's a way of being able to even keep an eye on the field from ViewLink of the connectivity of these remote devices. And of course, if you have thresholds in here, you'd be able to trigger a threshold alarming, all the other features that are associated with a ViewLink monitoring system, all are associated with this, external Wi-Fi wireless solution. So to go into, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's fantastic, and I'm really glad that you explained the backfill, because that's pretty critical. It's as soon as we're talking about, okay, we're going to use cellular data and we're going, I'm sure that's a question that came up for a lot of people. It's like, whoa, what if you lose that connection? It drops momentarily or for an hour or two. So thank you for explaining the backfill.
I actually have to have this conversation with the customer because that's exactly what they're looking to do with this system. They have a problem with the RV driver not switching over from land power to the local generator on board the system, and they want to be able to set up alarms and notify everybody that somebody didn't plug in the freezer. So basically, I'm using the communication alarms that happen when it disconnects from the cellular modem as an indicator that there is a potential power outage. But that's very specific to this one customer.
Okay.
but if you haven't, it's also a way of being able to avoid having to have power monitoring on your equipment as well when it's remote like this. If you take a look at the screen that I have right here, this shows the administrators panel for Sites Manager. This is where you actually add and map devices within ViewLink. Here you can see the AP10 module added in here. And if I edit the app properties, you can see it's all the setups here. You can also log in and remotely access this, but you can over here you have all your data loggers that are connected to it. So you always have the visual here in the administrator side, what the connectivity is between each AP10 and each device. And you can also tell what the device address is, status, and signal quality to each one of these devices from here. It's also available with reports inside the ViewLink system as well. So this is the under the hood part for ViewLink administrators when they're adding new hardware to the system.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much for taking us through this. I'm really excited that we were, as you said, we've launched the VaiNet wireless technology a couple of years ago now, and we've been using it, but it was really great that we had a customer who was interested to see if they could push the use of our wireless data loggers a little bit. And I'm glad that we were able to help them with that. And I'm very grateful to you, Sean, for sharing this with us. I'm grateful that you had your whiteboard and your demos handy, because that helps. Visuals help. So,
Yeah, the quality of the visuals are not all that great here.
but the information, we're hoping that people will
With the
forgive
light up gamer headset. I mean, this is a new fashion statement.
I was a little envious, but you came through loud and clear, so the headset was well worn. So thank you. We'll post this as a blog, and then if you have any questions, you can email them to us, or you can write a comment on the blog below, and we'll always answer your questions either privately by email or on the blog. That's fine too. And your information is kept secret. So thanks again, Sean. Thanks for sharing about VaiNet's mobile capabilities. That's really good stuff.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, you too.